Dear Executive Director of United Nations Human Settlement Program, UN Habitat, Mamouna Morsharif, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ağdam. I'm very glad that we organize Azerbaijan National Urban Forum here in the place where Ağdam city once was situated. Now you can see that nothing left from what used to be a city full of life. It was destroyed. It was destroyed during the times of occupation. I'd like also to express gratitude to our guests from different countries. We have representatives of more than 40 countries attending our forum, for being with us, for coming here to see what has happened to the biggest city in Karabakh region, which Ağdam used to be, and to see what we are doing and what we are planning to do in the coming years to return former IDPs to their homeland. Ağdam was, as I said, already destroyed during the years of occupation. It was not destroyed during the First Karabakh War. It was destroyed after, for almost 30 years. Stone by stone, all the buildings have been ruined and dismantled. Stones have been stolen and sold out. You may see the only half destroyed building was the building of Juma Mosque, but the reason why it was not destroyed along with other mosques which Armenian destroyed in the former occupied territories was that they were using the minarets for observation to see potential movement of Azerbaijani armed forces. But we have video and photo evidences of desecration of Ağdam Mosque, where Armenians kept pigs and cows in the mosque. Total 65 out of 67 mosques which existed on the territories which were liberated were totally destroyed. Two of them, one here and one in Shusha, half destroyed and desecrated. What you see here in Ağdam, you can see in every single village of Karabakh area. I know that our guests came here by plane to newly built Fizuli Airport. So Fizuli city, totally destroyed, not a single building. Jabrail is the same. Gubadli, Zengilan is the same. The only places where not all the buildings have been destroyed were Shusha, Lachin, and partly Kelbejar. But the reason for that was that Armenian state was conducting a policy of illegal settlement of Armenians from different countries to settle on the occupied territories. And this is considered to be a brutal violation of international law and Geneva Conventions. So now we are facing a tremendous challenge to return as soon as possible former refugees and IDPs to their homeland. But one of the biggest complications, apart from a large-scale reconstruction program, are landmines. Since the war ended 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, we have almost 250 Azerbaijanis who have been killed or seriously injured as a result of landmine explosions. Unfortunately, the figure is growing every week. Just last week, we had 2 killed and 3 seriously injured. Armenians have planted more than 1 million mines during the times of occupation, and this policy of terror against Azerbaijan and Azerbaijanis continues. Relatively recently, we have discovered and neutralized more than 1,400 landmines which have been planted in Lachin district by Armenian armed forces in the period after the Second Karabakh War ended. So aggression against Azerbaijan, terror against Azerbaijan continues. Our nation suffered a serious humanitarian crisis because as a result of Armenian aggression and occupation, more than 1 million Azerbaijanis were totally ethnically cleansed from their native land in Karabakh, in Zangezur, and also in today's Armenia. And when it happened, population of Azerbaijan was less than 8 million people, and can you imagine 1 million became refugees and IDPs. And we're very grateful to international organizations, especially institutions of United Nations, for support to our refugees and IDPs, especially in the early years of independence when we needed this support seriously. Results of the Armenian occupation and aggression is now seen by everyone who visits liberated territories. And since the Second Karabakh War ended, there have been thousands of foreign visitors, journalists, politicians, representatives of civil society who came here and saw it with their own eyes. The scope of Armenian barbarism and vandalism actually is so impressive so that many people who come to this part of Azerbaijan really feel absolutely exhausted morally. And you can imagine the feelings of us, of Azerbaijanis, and especially those who used to live in Ağdam, in Fizuli, in other part of Azerbaijan, which was under occupation, when they come here. And they cannot even find the place where their house was situated, because everything is totally destroyed. Armenia, conducting the policy of occupation, had main target as to change de facto situation on the ground and to make then negotiation process with Azerbaijan endless. And that was the reason why negotiations lasted for 28 years without any result. So result was actually zero. Despite the fact that leading international organizations such as United Nations, OSCE and others adopted resolutions, decisions, demanding immediate and unconditional withdrawal of Armenian troops from Azerbaijani territories, particularly 4 UN Security Council resolutions, which remained on paper for almost 30 years. And despite all our appeals to impose sanctions on Armenia, we did not succeed. So international community decided in a way to turn a blind eye on the humanitarian catastrophe of Azerbaijani people. The most regrettable is that the structure which had a mandate from OSCE, so-called Minsk Group, and its co-chairs visited occupied territories many times, witnessed the brutal devastation of all the cities and villages, witnessed illegal settlement of Armenians on our lands, but did not condemn Armenia. Throughout 28 years of their so-called activity, there was not a single word of condemnation of Armenia by them. And of course, now when we see some efforts to revitalize this Minsk group, we of course cannot be supportive to that, because they did nothing to implement their mandate. The only thing they did, actually, to a certain degree, they tried to legitimize the Armenian aggression. They tried to create a balance between aggressor and the victim of aggression. Therefore, now, when Azerbaijan itself restored international law, implemented UN Security Council resolutions, used the UN Charter, particularly the paragraph which talks about self-defense, and restored our national dignity, we do not need any other mediation. We made a proposal soon after the Second Karabakh War ended. Despite all what you see in Ağdam and what anyone can see in the territory of more than 10,000 square kilometers totally destroyed by Armenians, despite the human sufferings of our people, we proposed peace to Armenia. We announced publicly the 5 basic principles of international law, which should be the basis for peace agreement, particularly mutual recognition of territorial integrity of countries, refrain from territorial claims in the future, refrain from use of force or threat of use of force, delimitation of state border, and opening of communication. So these actually are basic principles of international law, and I think peace agreements or any kind of agreement between countries which are trying to normalize their relations must be based on that. With respect to Armenian population who still lives in Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, they are our citizens, and we are not going to discuss how we're going to organize their life on our territory with any international player. Karabakh is Azerbaijan. The Second Karabakh War proved it on the ground. During the times of occupation, no country in the world, including Armenia, did not recognize this artificial structure. Therefore, issues related to our internal affairs, we never discuss with international institutions or with any country, regardless the size and potential of that country. We have certain optimism with respect to the peace process, because just recently, several days ago, there was a meeting of foreign ministers of Azerbaijan and Armenia, first meeting of that kind, particularly with the agenda of preparation of draft of peace agreement. We hope that it will not take a long time. We know the tactics which Armenians usually use when they don't want to come to an agreement, like negotiations on Karabakh conflict for 28 years. If that continues, then we'll have no peace. If this is a choice of Armenia, that means that they will make another serious mistake. They underestimated us. They underestimated our will, the will of people of Azerbaijan, the potential of Azerbaijan, and they had to pay the price for that. The war, which happened 2 years ago, was conducted on the territory of Azerbaijan. So this once again proves our position and demonstrates that despite the suffering of more than 1 million of our countrymen, we want to put an end to hostility, mutual hatred, and we want to open a new page of peace. Whether we will succeed or not, we will see. I'm not sure, but at least we are moving in that direction. At the same time, we have hopes that the 2 corresponding commissions on border delimitation, Azerbaijani and Armenian commissions, will also not lose time and to work actively on defining the border between 2 countries which actually do not exist. During the times of occupation, which lasted for almost 30 years, that border was totally under Armenian control. So when occupation ended, we came to the border, which we consider to be the border, and settled there. Therefore, in order to define this border, which is more than 400 kilometers, of course, we need to have very active work based on historical documents, based on historical maps, and based on international practice and certain methodology. So this process is moving, but again, how successful it will be, it is difficult to say. So this is actually what happened during the last period of time. Now we are facing the new challenges, but very pleasant challenges to rebuild Karabakh and Eastern Zangezur, to return people, to return life, and to create much better conditions for former refugees and IDPs which exist anywhere else in Azerbaijan. And I'm sure that these people, they deserve that. They lived in difficult conditions for many years, despite the fact that we resettled more than 300,000 IDPs, providing them with new apartments and flats. And during numerous meetings with them, when we were inaugurating this new housing project, they were expressing gratitude for that, but at the same time saying that we want you to return us back. And I promise them all the time that I will do it. And I'm very proud that we managed to do. And already the program of big return have started. Relatively recently, this May, the first village in Zangilan region was already built, and the first IDPs are already back. And I'm really very proud that I'm sure all the people of Azerbaijan, that not only those who used to live there, they're going back, but also their children, their grandchildren. Already this September, the school in Zangilan opened, and the young Zangilanis are already studying at school. They've never seen that land because they were born after occupation, but it shows that the people of Azerbaijan are strongly committed to their roots, to their native land. And really, it's a source of national pride that, based on the survey which we conducted among former IDPs, with the question, are they going to go back or not, in order for us to know what should be the scale of housing projects, absolute majority responded that they want to go back, even those who have never seen those lands. So this, of course, creates a very special atmosphere in our society, and the feeling of national pride, the feeling of victory, the feeling of restoration of justice, restoration of dignity of the people. These feelings cannot be measured by any scale. This is something which you have to feel. And we feel it, and we are happy about that. And now what we are doing here in Ağdam, in other liberated territories, is that we concentrated and mobilized all our potential in order to return the former IDPs as soon as possible. Large-scale infrastructure projects are underway. You've seen Füzuli International Airport, which was built in 8 months. This month, we are planning to inaugurate Zangilan International Airport, and in 2025, International Airport in Lachin. The railroad from Barda to Ağdam will be operational next year, and yesterday I laid down the foundation of the new railway station. Thousands of kilometers of highways and thousands of kilometers of village roads are being constructed now. According to the investment plan, which has been already approved, total in the liberated territories of Karabakh and Eastern Zangezur, there will be 33 tunnels with a length of more than 50 kilometers. There will be 84 bridges with a length of 12 kilometers. These are only part of what we are now doing. We fully restored the electric supply to all the liberated areas, and hopefully soon in Jebrail we will start the construction of the solar power plant, capacity of 230 megawatts. In general, we have evaluated the potential of renewable energy in the liberated territories, and preliminary analysis show it's almost 10,000 megawatts. We already inaugurated several hydropower stations, and total capacity of hydro power will be more than 500 megawatts. and the rest will be solar and wind. And this area will not only accumulate its people who had to live in different parts of Azerbaijan during the years of occupation, but at the same time will be a driving force for Azerbaijan's economy in the future. We have huge water resources here, which we've been deprived of during the times of occupation, because Armenians did not only occupy our cities, they occupied our resources. There have been illegal mining, illegal activity of cutting us from water, and we were not able to irrigate 100,000 hectares of land. So now we are back to our rivers, we are back to our soil. And all the master plans of the cities have already been prepared by leading international companies and approved. So we already started here in Ağdam several housing projects. I was here yesterday at the groundbreaking ceremony of 3 villages, Hıdırlı, Kengerli, Sarıcalı. Several thousand people will live in these villages, maximum in 2 years. In the city of Ağdam, we're already building the school for almost 1,000 children, which will be ready maybe this year, maybe next year. Hospital and several housing projects. So, and this is only Ağdam. The same is more or less going in Füzuli, in Gubadli, in Zengilan. In the city of Lachin, where we returned just 2 months ago, we plan to restore it by the end of next year, because, as I said, there was illegal settlement there, so not all the buildings have been knocked down. We already sent a group of specialists there. So we will rebuild Karabakh and Zengizur, we have no doubt about that, no matter how expensive and costly it will be. This is our national idea. Our national idea before was to return to our lands, to restore justice, and to restore our territorial integrity, and all the people of Azerbaijan united and were preparing themselves for that. And young generation, which sacrificed their lives, of almost 3,000 victims we had during the war, and thousands of those who celebrated our victory. This is really the modern Azerbaijan. This is new Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan now, which is free from that label of being occupied, now is just raising and will, I'm sure, be one of the most successful countries, not only in the region. Once again, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. This forum for us is really very important. I'm grateful to Executive Director of UN Habitat. She visited us 6 months ago. We had a very good meeting with her, and afterwards we were invited to World Urban Forum in Poland, and our representatives participated. Now we organize National Urban Forum, and I'm grateful to UN representative for being with us, to the mayors and deputy mayors and representatives from all the countries who are together with us. So this is actually the beginning of international, I would say, ties of Ağdam. And we hope that Ağdam and many cities of the world will become sister cities. You know, Ağdam during the Soviet times was the biggest city in Karabakh, the city full of life, and everybody in Azerbaijan know it. After we liberated the territories and foreign experts, journalists came here, they gave several names to Ağdam. One was victim of urbicid, which is absolutely correct. Another was ghost city, also absolutely correct. and also one was named, it was named Hiroshima of Caucasus. But unlike Hiroshima, the devastation and demolition was not as a result of atomic bomb, but it was as a result of vandalism and barbarism of our neighbors. But now we are back. We came back by force. We came back using international law norms, and we came back to live here and to live here forever. Thank you.